reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. The tax collectors and sinners were all seeking the company of Jesus to hear what he had to say. And the Pharisees and the scribes complained. "This man," they said, "welcomes sinners and eats with them." So he spoke this parable to them. "What man among you with 100 sheep, losing one, would not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the missing one till he found it? And when he found it, would he not joyfully take it on his shoulders, and then, when he got home, call together his friends and neighbors? 'Rejoice with me,' he would say, 'I have found my sheep that was lost.' In the same way, I tell you, there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one repentant sinner than over 99 virtuous men who have no need of repentance. Or again, what woman with 10 drachmas would not, if she lose one, light a lamp, sweep out the house, and search thoroughly till she found it? And then, when she had found it, call together her friends and neighbors. 'Rejoice with me,' she would say, 'I have found a drachma I lost.' In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing among the angels of God over one repentant sinner." The Gospel of the Lord. The revelation of the birth of Jesus to the Magi in Matthew's Gospel and to the shepherds in Luke's Gospel reminds us of the many times that even as early as his birth, Jesus made bridges and reaches out to those who were looked down upon in society. God reaching out to others at Jesus' birth did not just stop then and wait again until the church spread around the world after the Pentecost. No, all during Jesus' ministry, Jesus was making efforts to reach out and include those who were rejected by society at that time. For instance, Jesus reached out to tax collectors. Even though tax collectors in Palestine were Jews, they were hated by their fellow Jews because they passed on taxes to the headquarters in Rome and not for the development of their community. One of the disciples whom Jesus called to follow him is Levi, who is called Matthew in Matthew's Gospel. Levi offered Jesus a feast in his house, and the guests included a large crowd of tax collectors. In Jericho, Jesus met Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was a chief tax collector, so therefore regarded as an even bigger sinner than Matthew. Jesus even stayed at least one night in his house, and Zacchaeus converted. Also, Jesus reached out to Samaritans. The Samaritans were seriously looked down upon by the Jews at the time, and there was constant friction between Jews and Samaritans. Jesus even wanted to visit the Samaritans on his way south from Galilee to Jerusalem, but they did not welcome him. Jesus told the parable of the Good Samaritan, in which one who shows himself to be a good neighbor is actually the Samaritan. And on other occasion, Jesus healed 10 lepers. 9 were Jews and 1 a Samaritan. And only the Samaritan returned to thank Jesus. So obviously, Jesus reached out to sinners. In Luke chapter 7, a woman identified by many in her community as a sinner washed Jesus' feet with her tears and dried them with her hair, and Jesus contrasted her with the lack of welcome he received from the Pharisee who was hosting the meal. Our gospel today tells us the reason Jesus told the parables of the lost sheep and the lost coin was to defend himself, because he was criticized by the Pharisees and scribes for welcoming sinners and tax collectors. All of these stories show us who Jesus really is: the doctor who came to take care of the sick and not the healthy, the shepherd who is madly in love with his sheep that he left the 99 to look for the lost one, the woman who turned her house upside down just to look for a penny that she lost, and even called her neighbor when she found a coin to celebrate with her. God sees what we do not see, and in the eyes of a righteous man, mercy and forgiveness are suspended, and the sinner is condemned. Let us see then in the eyes of faith, in the eyes of Jesus, that we may look at each other with love and compassion.